have recorded a series of classes with the sanctuary here in Hatian Kopanyan. My classes have a Western flavor. They are active, and they have all each been designed for friends and family who had goals, objectives, wanted to improve their body. I want to share them with you today and hope to teach you. I teach as I see it. To me, yoga is an ongoing practice, something that you incorporate in your life, and that you're never really done with it. So, just like your laundry, just like your dishes. I like to show vulnerability, that mistakes are okay, and that it's okay to not be at the same place as others. We each have our own path. The yoga is also, to me, a tool to balance your life, a tool to deal with difficult situation, and as well as a tool to create space for change and transformation. The classes that I teach range from preparing your body for dancing, improving your balance, strengthening your knees. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope to practice with you today. Namaste. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. So you can take a lotus, half lotus, or just cross-legged. We're going to have our hands at heart center, prayer hands, fingernails touching and pressing against the chest. We're going to take a big inhale and lift both arms up. Once we reach the top, we're going to interlace the fingers, push the palms up, extend the arms, lift the shoulders, the rib cage, and feel the length in our spine, in our back. We're a bit longer. On our next exhale, we're going to lower down. We're going to keep the length and the straightness of our back and just fold wherever it's comfortable. We're hinging at the hips and just lowering yourself down. This is a nice, easy back, glute, hip stretch. And with each breath, you can walk your hands forward. On our next inhale, we're going to walk the hands towards the right and stretch the left side of our body. We stay folded. On our next inhale, we walk the hand back to center. And once we are here, we kind of maybe lengthen our spine a bit more, and then exhale, walk the hands back to the left and stretch the right side. Inhale, we walk the hands back to center. And as we exhale, we walk the hands closer to the body, lift the chest back up, come back in an upright position. We're going to bring the hands at the heart center again. We're going to inhale, lift both arms up. Once we reach the top, we lengthen. And then exhale, we're going to bring the right arm down and then lean to the right. We're going to keep the sit bones on the mat and keep the straightness in our spine. And then just lower wherever it feels comfortable for you. Feel the stretch from the elbow all the way to the hip, but just a nice gentle stretch. You're going to inhale, lift the left arm up, bring the right arm to the middle. We're going to make ourselves longer, taller, and straight. Exhale, bring the left arm down, and then we lean to the left, stretch the right side. Again, sit bones on the mat. We're going to inhale and rise, both hands up. Again, we lengthen. Exhale, we bring both hands down to the mat, our side. We're going to change the leg position. We're going to come into butterfly, and then we're going to bring both soles of the feet together. So we want to mirror our toes, our heels, so that our hips are open evenly. Just let your knees drop wherever it's comfortable, and then try to keep your torso upright. So this is a bit challenging. You can kind of grab your feet to help you stay upright. And then we're going to warm up the upper body. So we're going to bring our right ear to our right shoulder just a little bit and feel a stretch from the ear to the beginning of the shoulder. Nice and easy. And then we're going to bring our chin to our chest. We're going to slowly rotate and then make our way to left ear, left shoulder. And hold. Now we're going to swing back. So we're going to bring our chin to our chest, slowly rotate all the way back to the right ear, the right shoulder. And then continue the rotation if your neck is strong. So go all the way back, slow and steady. Once you've made a complete circle, change direction. Once you're complete, come back to stillness. I'm going to bring the fingertips to the shoulders on both shoulders, both hands. We're going to draw big circles with our elbows. So we're going to go move backwards and then forward. Feel your shoulder blades go up and down your back. If you hear some popping, that's completely normal. Do a couple circles at your own pace. And then change direction. And then we come back to stillness, release the shoulders. We're going to release the legs as well. We're going to make our way into tabletop. So this is where you come on all fours. And you align your knees with your hips. You align your wrist with your shoulders. You keep a back straight and neutral. Your hands are about shoulder width apart. Your knees about hip distance. We'll move into some cat-cow. So as we inhale, we lift the chest, arch the back, tilt the head. And as we exhale, we round the back, push the shoulder blades up, and look towards the belly button. So this pose, we really move with the breath. We follow the breath cycle. So keep doing a few at your own pace. Hold it where you need it. Each day is a bit different. And then we each have different needs, especially when it comes to the back. So keep the breath, keep the movement. And let's do one more on each side together. Inhale and we lift, arch, and tilt. Exhale, we round, lift the shoulders. And then we come back to center, to the neutral position. Okay. We're gonna tuck the toes so we engage the feet. We're gonna lift our knees a little bit, engage the body. So here we're engaging the core, the back, the shoulders, the toes, everything. And then we're gonna push up into our first downward dog. So we're gonna pedal our feet to warm up the legs, the calves. So we're gonna push one heel down and then lift the other and keep alternating. So you should feel the stretch from the heel all the way to the back of the knee. This will help you with all your future downward dogs. And then let's do both heels together. Push them down for a few seconds. And then we're going to release. We're going to lift the heels up. We're going to walk the hands towards the feet towards the hands, all the way to the top. And come to our first forward fold. We're going to bend the knees right away. So we want to release the leg muscles. In your forward fold, I want you to think of your chest coming close to your legs. And think of yourself hinging at the hips. So I like to think of an old flip phone, so like the Motorola. So we want to come and close as much as possible. And then to help us, so we've bent the knees, we folded, we're going to lift both arms behind our back, interlace the fingers, and then lift them up. And notice how the top of your torso has come a little bit closer to your legs. We keep breathing, inhale, and as we exhale, maybe try to come down a little bit more. Let's release the hands to the floor. We're going to bend the knees even more. We're going to inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. We're going to take a full breath here. And I'm going to inhale, lift both hands up. At the top, always lift the hands, lengthen the spine, make yourself taller. As we exhale, we're going to swan dive. So we're going to keep the straightness in the back and fold on our legs. We're going to plant both palms, and then we're going to step the right foot back. We're going to drop that knee. We'll release the toes, and then rise up. In this pose, we're going to start with the hands on the hips. We're going to do a sequence twice. So the first time, do it nice and easy. The second time, you can kind of deepen the pose if you want. So we're going to move the left knee forward just a little bit and sink our hips down. So keep the hands on the hips. And then on our next inhale, we're going to lengthen that leg. So we're going to straighten the left leg. We're going to bring our hands down for balance. And then we're going to straighten the leg, flex the foot, and then try to come and fold over the leg. Again, we keep the breath. And send oxygen to the body. Now we're going to return in this sort of neutral, that low lunge. So we're going to bend the left knee. We're going to shift our weight forward. And then we're going to do these two poses one more time and just deepen the pose. So find your balance and rise up. We sink our left knee forward and sink the hips down. And then you can stay here if you want. This is a very nice stretch. You can deepen the pose by moving a bit the knee forward. And you can also bring your hands up. And then tilt a little bit behind. So you may feel an intense stretch in your side, in your stomach. So do it gently. Work your way into this pose. And then use the breath. Now let's bring the hands back down. And then we straighten the leg, bring the hands down, flex the foot, and then we fold over the leg. On our next inhale, we're going to shift forward, come back to the neutral spot. Plant both palms, tuck the toe, lift your right knee, and then step back into a plank. In your plank, I want you to engage your full body. So this means pushing up and almost rounding the back, engaging the shoulders. We also want to push the heels back and then feel the legs engage. We will then lower slowly as we exhale. You're gonna release the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, but keep the hips on the mat as we come into a cobra. We're gonna lower down as we exhale. We're gonna tuck the toes and push ourselves up into a downward dog. Have your feet about hip distance apart, your fingers spread out, and then for your first couple downward dogs, don't worry about your heels or your knees. They can be bent, they can be up, but just focus on shifting the weight back in the legs. So we want to straighten the back and then have the hips as the highest point. Let's bend the knees and then step your right foot in between the hands. Find your balance, and then we're gonna lift the right arm up, open the shoulders to look to the palm. So we're twisting the torso, opening the shoulders. Exhale, we bring the hand back down, planted on the mat, and then we step the left foot to meet the right. We are in a forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale, rise all the way up. Hands come down to heart center as we exhale. Let's take a full breath here. Inhale, we lift the arms up. We reach up, maybe even arch a little bit the back. Exhale, swan dive into a forward fold. We plant the palms, bend the knees, and then step the left foot back. We drop that knee, release the toes, and rise up. Find your balance, hands on the hips. We're gonna move that knee forward and then sink the hips down, nice and gentle. Again, we do this side twice. And then we extend the right leg, bring the hands down for balance, straighten the foot, flex it, and then we fold over the leg. Inhale, we move back to the neutral position, so move to the low lunge. And then we find our balance and rise up. We will move again, the knee forward, sink the hip down. And then if you want, you can engage the upper body, create a bit of a back bend. So we inhale, lift both arms up. Once we reach the top, we lengthen and then arch just a little bit. Work your way into this pose, slowly and gently. Inhale, we're gonna come back out. So we're gonna extend that leg and fold and flex. Let's inhale, bend the knee, move forward. We're gonna plant the palms, tuck the toe, lift the knee, and then step back into a plank. Again, we engage the full body, so shoulders, heels, and then we lower down with control, with strength. If you can, release the toes, inhale, lift the chest, and then try to kind of bring your shoulders a bit back, kind of shine your heart. I like to think of, I'm from Canada and we have what they call the Care Bears, so shine our like love and so on. We're gonna lower down as we exhale. We're gonna tuck the toes and push ourselves back up to a downward dog. So again, we push the weight into the legs. We want to protect the wrist. We also make an effort to straighten our back. So it might be hard sometimes to see, but try to kind of bring your ears in between your bicep and push that weight forward, backwards. Again, heels don't need to touch necessarily. Your knees can be bent. We're going to bend the knees, inhale, step the left foot in between the hands. Oops. And then we're going to find our balance and lift the left arm up, pivot the torso, look to the palm, to the ceiling. If you can, if not, you can keep your head straight. We're going to bring the hand back down, plant it on the mat, and then we step the right foot to meet the left. We come to a forward fold. We bend the knees, inhale, rise all the way up. And then we reach up, exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And take a full breath here. Let's inhale and lift. Exhale, we fold. Let's plant both palms, and now you can jump or step back into plank. Whoops. This shakes a lot. Now we lower down with control, or we can come to Chaturanga where elbows are 90 degrees. Your elbows are closer to the body. We inhale, lift into up dog or cobra. And then exhale, we push ourselves back into a downward dog. So with each downward dog, we continue the shift. I want you to space out your fingers and have your middle finger pointing in the same direction as the top of the mat. Now we're going to lift the right leg up and come to a three-legged dog. So we're going to lift, we're going to point or flex the toes, whichever leg engagement you prefer. We're going to bend that knee, bring that heel behind you, and then try to open the hip. I like to compare this pose to a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Once you have that picture in your mind, you can really get in the pose. Let's come back to three-legged dog. So we square the hips, lift the heel up. And then we're going to lower that leg back down, plant it on the mat. We're going to recenter, readjust, and then move to the other side right away. So we're going to lift the left leg up, point or flex the toes. We bend the knee and open the hip. So bring that heel behind you. Let's come back to three-legged dog, square the hip. And then we lower back down, come to a downward dog, readjust as needed. Let's bend both knees. And then we can walk or jump in between the hands. We come to a forward fold. We bend the knees, inhale, rise all the way up. Hands come down to heart center. And then take a full breath here. Let's inhale, lift. And then exhale, we're going to fold. Let's plant the palm, jump or step back into plank. Engage in your plank, lower yourself down and come to Chaturanga. We inhale, lift into up dog or cobra. And then we push back, exhale, downward dog. We inhale, lift the right leg up again, three-legged dog, point or flex. Bend the knee, bring the heel behind you, open the hip, stack the hips. We return to three-legged dog, and then we're gonna swing the foot, swing the leg. We're gonna step the right foot outside of the right hand, and then drop on our left knee, release the toes. So we're coming into a lizard pose. Here you can stay here if you want, if this is good for you. But if you want a bigger engagement in the hip, we lower ourselves down to our forearms and continue with the breath. So your knee might kind of want to open. Yes, you can't see it really well from this angle, but your knee might want to open. You can roll onto your heel, onto the side of your foot, but I prefer to keep my foot down and feel the engagement in the hips. From this lizard, we're going to rise back up on our palms. So stay in the same leg position, but come up. And then we're going to bend the knee that is behind us. For me, it's the left leg. So we're going to bend that knee, bring that heel up. Now, if you can, we're going to reach with the right arm, so opposite hand to opposite foot. And then we're going to grab that foot. Once we've made contact, we're going to rotate the shoulders and look up. Now there's a deep, intense stretch in the quadriceps. So go gentle, so don't overdo it. Just allow your leg to go back a little bit if that's too much. Or of course, we can release and plant the hand back down on the mat. So ground both hands, tuck the toe, lift the leg, and then we step back into plank. We engage the full body, lower self down, or Chaturanga. We lift and inhale. And then exhale, push back, lift the hips up, the tailbone high, downward dog. Now we're going to lift the left leg up, three-legged dog, point or flex. Bend the knee, open the hip one last time. Let's come back to three-legged dog, square the hips, and then move that foot, left foot outside of the left hand. Come to a lizard. We're going to come down on our knee, release the foot, and then whatever we did on the right side, we need to do equally on the left, so that we open the hips evenly. If you have some tightness, just work your way slowly and with some breath. So as you exhale, see an opportunity to lower yourself down. Let's inhale and rise up. So just lift the chest, come back on the palms of the hands. Now we bend that right knee, bring that foot as close to our buttocks as we can. We reach opposite arm, so here for me it's the left. I grab the foot. Once I make contact, I lift the chest, rotate the shoulders, and try to shine the heart this way. Let's release the foot back down, bring the hand back on the mat. Ground both hands, step back into plank. Now we're going to lower our knees down and then come into a Plow Pose. So we're going to release the top of the feet, sit down on our heels. Before we come down all the way, I want you to just kind of bring your hands a bit up And try to lengthen your spine, not necessarily lift your shoulders, but just lengthen the spine before you fall down. You can have your head on your hands. I prefer forehead on the mat. I find that very comforting. During your child pose, continue with the breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Send that breath all the way, everywhere in your body. See it as goodness, energy. Coming out of child pose, we're gonna just lift the head. We're gonna walk the hands back closer to the body, lift the chest. We're gonna make our way into tabletop. So we shift, lift the hips, bring the hands about shoulder width apart. We tuck the toes and then push ourselves up back to a downward dog. We're gonna lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Let's bend that knee and bring that knee right below your right hand and just drop that knee. And then we're gonna sink our hips back and come to a pigeon pose. So pigeon pose is quite intense on the hips. Just find what's comfortable. So we want to sink down, we want to square the hips. If you have very loose hips, you can move that foot and kind of come more this way. Now, once you find your position, you can lower yourself down, come to the forearms if you want. You can come down and rest your head on your arms all the way down to the mat, cheek on the mat. Pigeon pose is quite intense. Try to use your breath to kind of calm your muscles. So your muscles are fighting this stretch. And there's a moment where it will click and they will not be fighting anymore. So this is where the work really begins. So pay attention to the sensation happening in the hips. Let's inhale, lift the head, walk the hands back towards the body so that we lift the chest. We're gonna plant both palms, connect with the ground, tuck the toe, lift the knee, and then step back into a plank again. Let's lower down with control for Chaturanga. We lift, inhale, and then exhale, push yourselves back. Downward dog. Let's inhale, lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Let's bend the knee and swing that knee, drop it, left knee below the left hand. And then we sink ourselves back, pigeon pose on the left side. Again, just like the lizard pose, we want to open the hips evenly. Generally, the left side is the tighter side for most people. So start easy, and then just with each breath and each second, kind of deepen the pose. So come down slowly. Maybe you hang out here for a moment, and then lower yourself down. Again, connecting with that part of your groin, and then noticing the work it does, and also when it's starting to release. We're going to inhale, lift the head, slowly rise up with control. We plant both palms, tuck the toe, lift the knee, and step back into plank. We engage, and then drop the knees again. We're going to sink down again in a child pose. In this child pose, I want you to feel your hips. So I want you to kind of tune in and just notice how they feel this moment, if they feel a bit looser, if you feel anything. If you don't, that's okay as well. But let's be aware of our body and the reactions and the sensations. Now to exit this child pose, if you're ready, you can stay here a bit longer if you need. We're gonna lift the head, shift the body forward, come to a tabletop, and then we're gonna make our way here. Let's actually sit on our heels and then find our way on our back. So we're gonna do a bit of back bend. We're gonna work our way to a more advanced back bend with easier stage. You can stay at any variations that you want and repeat. And of course, you can also just take a Shavasana and hang out and relax and recuperate if you need to. So let's lay down. So we're going to lay down the chest. We're going to plant both soles of the feet on the mat. We're going to bring our hands by our buttocks and then kind of like try to reach our heels, make contact. We're going to lower the shoulder blades and have the knees sort of in line with the hips. We're going to do a few bridge postures. We're going to start with the simple bridge variation where we lift the hips as we inhale. We just lift them up high. We engage the glutes, we engage the back and the legs. Keep the knees in line with the hips and the heels. And then lift the chest. Now let's lower down with our next exhale. And then take a few seconds on the mat here. So you can repeat, this is sort of level one. We can repeat this cycle with each other variations that I do. Or you can follow me and kind of go into the sort of a bit more advanced and engage more of your spine, create a better back bend. So the next version, we're gonna, again, hands by your side. We're gonna inhale, lift the hips, and then we're gonna roll our shoulder blades in, interlace the fingers. Once we have that connection, then we push our belly button higher. Again, we try to keep the knees in line with the body. And with each breath, each inhale and exhale. So at the exhale, you push a little bit more up. You think you may not have more room to bend, but with each breath, there's a little bit, maybe a millimeter, but makes a big difference. In this pose, we breathe and we pay attention to how the back is working, which muscles are engaged. And then let's lower ourselves down. We release the fingers, we unroll the shoulders, and roll one vertebrae at a time with control. And then we hang out here for a moment, relax every body part, just see this as a rest. Maybe pay attention if you feel any sensations in your back. This is how your body is reacting to the bend, to the pose. You can stay in this version and kind of repeat if you wish, or you can follow me into the sort of the last pose of this back bend series. I like to do this pose twice because I find the first time I do it, I'm kind of just getting used to it. My muscles are adapting to it. And on the second time, I find that now I can come to the full pose and challenge, kind of stretch better. So the next version, we're going to go into the upwards bow. So same kind of leg position, but this time we plant the hands next to the ears and above the shoulders. If you wish as well, you can just watch me for the first round and kind of join in on the second. So in this pose, we inhale, lift the hips, and continue lifting. So we lift the chest, lift the head, and then push ourselves up. We can release the lower back by lifting the heels. And in this pose, I want you to move your chest forward. So this pose, it's a bit difficult to breathe because you kind of, in a way, you're kind of constricting yourself, but make the effort to send nice, deep breath full of oxygen to your body. To exit this pose, we bring the head down first, connect, lower the shoulders and the hips. And then I want you to release the legs for a moment and come to a mini Shavasana. So we just relax, we just lay down, we just let go of every muscle, and then pay attention to what your back is saying to you. So notice if there's any discomfort. You of course know good pain, bad pain. So pay attention. If this was too much, stay here. Maybe even bring your knees to your chest to kind of release, kind of create a stretch. Or you can follow me into the next, the same pose that we'll repeat. So we bend both knees, plant the feet, and then bring the hands next to the shoulders, next to the ears. As we inhale, we lift the hips, continue lifting, chest, head, push yourself up. If you want, lift your heels, and then push your chest forward. Again, to exit, head, shoulders, and hips. Let's release everything one more time. Relax. Back bend used to be my least favorite pose. Now they are my favorite. I find they bring a lot of energy. They allow your spine to be more flexible. They maybe even help with digestion and so on. So if you can, try to incorporate a big back bend. It helps a lot if you work on a computer or kind of slouch all day at work or in various scenarios. So these are really good postures to do to maintain a good posture. Now, from this Shavasana, we'll kind of counter the work that we've just done. So in yoga, we really want to balance each side. So I like to come to here, to come to a shoulder stand. So what we do is we lift both legs up, straight out. We can point or flex the toes. This is a sort of the base of the position. You can actually stay here and just do this pose if you want. You can engage the legs, have fun. You can support your lower back if this is a bit kind of challenging for you. And then we'll move into the pose, into the shoulder stand, or you can stay here, it's up to you. So we lift the hips, we support the lower back. We can move our hands a bit more towards the ribs, and we try to align the feet, the knees, the hips, and the shoulders. We, as much as possible, try to keep your neck still in this pose. There's a lot of weight, there's a lot of pressure in the neck. You can stay here if you want, or we can have a bit of fun and kind of move into a plow pose. So plow pose is where we bring our toes and then bring them past our head. So once we touch the floor, release the hands. Maybe grab the mat, or you can interlace the fingers. We want to stretch the legs as much as possible. And again, neck is completely still. To exit the plow, we lift one leg up, support the lower back, lift the other, come to the shoulder stand, and then we're going to unroll one vertebrae at a time with control, and then all the way to a Shavasana again, a mini one. Oops. Again, pay attention to your back. Notice the sensation. We will bend the right knee and plant the right foot on the mat. Right here. So let's bend that knee. You're going to reach with the left hand and grab the right knee. Bring that knee, rotate on your hip, and bring that knee to the left side. Let's extend the right arm to the right side and look to the right hand. So keep your shoulders on the mat, both of them as much as you can. So we have our head and hand on the right and our knee to the left, and we're spinning. So think of that towel that we're spinning, or I forget the word, but we're twisting. And then so we try to twist in this area here, so sort of like towards the navel, just below the ribs. Let's release the knee, bring the knee back up. We extend the right leg back out. Take a moment to readjust the hips, and then we do the other side. So we bring the left knee up. We reach over with the right hand, grab that knee, extend the left arm, and then we pivot to the left side. Keep the shoulder blades on the mat and look to the left. Let's release the knee. And then as just one last pose before we get into a Shavasana. It's my favorite pose to end a practice before I completely relax. So we're going to come into a happy baby. So let's bend both knees and then lift both feet up. We reach over with both hands. I like to grab the outside of the feet here and then lift the feet up. So right away in this pose, you know exactly what I'm saying, a happy baby. We can open the feet a bit wider. We can use our palms to bring our knees closer to our body and armpits. And then we can do the playful baby and kind of rock side to side. Use your core to control and balance your motion. And then massage your back. So massage the spine. Or you can stay in stillness, it's up to you. Let's release the feet and just hug the knees just one moment as a last little bit. Little stretch. Extend the leg back out completely. Have your feet about mat distance apart. Let them fall flat on each side. Have your shoulder blades low on your back, your palms a bit away from the body, palms facing up, and maybe close your eyes. You can stay as long as you wish in this pose. You can do your own Shavasana. You can apply various meditation techniques, breathing techniques that you like. Or if you wish, you can go to our online videos and view different Shavasana, Yoga Nidra that you can do in this pose. If you do not know exactly what to do or feel that you want to explore how you could benefit from your Shavasana. I want to thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.